A forest fire devastated this landscape, and that fire happened over a decade ago, and this land is just struggling to come back. Our native vegetation just cannot beat out the weeds. The solution is goats and hay.
Day one of this project was just all about getting my boundaries set up. I want to get as much data and proof of concept out of this project as I can. And that means I want to give myself every opportunity and as many opportunities as I can to get that information. The overall size of this project is just 4 acres. So I wanted to break it down into as many sections as I could. So I broke it into 8 half-acre sections. Prior to coming out and actually marking these locations on the ground, I spent time on my phone on an app that's called Field Area Measure. It's an app that we use every day in the grazing business to determine where we are, measure the amount of acreage that we've done. That way we can have it for record and that we can invoice off of. So I took that 4 acre boundary and I broke it up into the half acre sections. So I've got it on my phone there. I know where all of my locations are by GPS. So I can walk around and I can find those spots with relative accuracy. And that's where I'm putting the stakes in the ground. These wooden stakes are just temporary. We're going to come back with steel posts and we're going to put them in these same locations for more permanent markers. Within each one of these half acre sections, I'm going to have enough hay in there to feed 39 goats for 7 days and still have about a 30% waste factor so that we have good ground cover after the goats leave that section. I'm testing different configurations of bales, different types of bales, the way they're laid out so that I can just get as much information as I can. And since we're using virtual GPS collars on our goats, it's essential that these markers are there. That way we know where to put the boundaries. A few factors that I have to consider when I'm trying to decide where I'm putting these bales. First factor is the test area itself. So I'm standing in the middle of number 7 right now. Every one of our test areas has a different number of bales, different type of bale, and a different configuration of what that bale is going to do. Is it a round bale that stands on its end? Is it a round bale that's on its side? Is it a square bale that's broken into several pieces and spread out? So each one of them has a little bit different configuration. Now the next factor that I'm thinking about is the proximity to a corner or a boundary line. So we're using the no fence GPS collars on our goats. And with that, there comes what's called GPS drift. So the boundary line for that virtual fence may shift about 20 feet to either side of where you originally put it. Finally, we got to look at the vegetation that's here. So for example, right here, we have a nice stand of native saltgrass. Now we don't want to put the bales on top of this. We don't want to cover this and smother this out. We've already got a nice stand that's going and we want to facilitate that and let it go. So we're looking for places that are either bare soil or it's nothing but weeds. That's where we want to put our bales. And this view right here gives us a chance to see all 3 of those that we're talking about. Right here, we have a nice stand of native saltgrass. We're not going to put anything on top of that. But if we pan back just a little bit, we can look over here, we have a nice area of bare soil. And over here, we have an area that's just covered up with Russian thistle or tumbleweed, which is a highly invasive weed and something we're wanting to get rid of anyway. Now that we've found some prime locations, we got either bare soil and or a weedy patch. Those are the places we're going to put them. Now I've got to go back, look at my GPS, look at my map, make sure that we're far enough away from the boundaries, and then I know how many bales we're putting in. That's going to determine the location of where these go in this particular section. So now I'm going to reference my map, and you can see the sections that are there. And we're in number 7 here, and you can't see it until I zoom in. You can start to see that blue dot. That gives us the indication of where we're standing right now, where that blue dot is. Once I know that we're somewhat in the center, I've got a good location on it, we're looking at bare ground and weedy ground, then I want to go over and I want to look at my my chart, which is very crude, just written on notebook paper. I don't have it labeled, but I know that this section is section number 7, and I've got 4 round bales. They're all going to be unrolled. So I think I got lucky because I didn't plan this, but number 7 has a whole lot of bare area and we've got a lot of weedy area. So rolling out 4 bales, I think, is going to give us maximum coverage. I'm doing each section differently because I want to find out what's the best method.
Do we want the round bales on end? Do we want them on their sides? Do we want them rolled out? Are square bales better? Are square bales better if they're spread out? And does the type of hay matter? Using 3 different types of hay. The first one for our round bales is Hagari, or what I call high gear. And that's what the farmer calls it, is high gear. It's a sorghum hay, and that's going to constitute all of our round bales because I've got it all from one location. Second type of hay we're using are big square bales or big rectangular bales, but these are going to be 1,200 to 1,400 pound square bales, and this is a Sudan hay. Our third type of hay, we're using a little bit smaller square bale. Not sure, I think the dimensions are 3 by 3 by 8, so they're just a little bit smaller. They're weighing in at about 800 pounds, but that's a Sudan alfalfa mix. So I got this this flag that's right here, which runs this rolled out round bale that direction. But I think I'm going to start another one right here because look at all that, see all that bare ground we've got going out through there? I think that's going to be a really good one to find out what it does on that. All right, I think we're going to start that other one right in here, and we're just going to roll it out that direction. This is an access road that the forest crew has been using for a while, and this is something I really want to see what happens if we put the hay down on a road because it's compacted, there's no vegetation, and this is really a big scarred area, and I want to just see what's going to happen there. Really exciting. But the problem is that this road right here, it intersects the boundary of section 7 and 6. So I think I'm going to have to make an accommodation once we get over here to move our virtual boundary so that it works. And I'm not exactly sure what's the best method because it dissects it right down the middle there. So I'm going to look at that and see what I can do, but I'm really interested in seeing what happens when we put it on a road. We're pretty close to the boundary, but I think with our virtual fencing, if I strategically do this, I can move that around and I'll be just fine. So in section 6, that's this one right here, we're doing the big square bales, the 2,400 pound bales. So it's really just going to be 2 of those. So I'm going to find the best spots for those, probably the most barren soil that we've got, and that's where I'm putting those 2 bales. And I mean right here, that's a great spot. We've got some of these tumbleweeds, we got very bare soil right now, so we're going to put 1 square right there. So we got that location. It's kind of on a high spot, and we got plenty of bare ground in here, but I think what we'll do is move over to an area that's a little bit of a lower spot. Right here, bare ground plus just weeds. We've got some Russian thistle or tumbleweed there, some silverleaf nightshade right there. It'll be interesting to see, since this is a low spot, maybe it holds moisture better. I don't know, we'll see. So I think we're going to put one right here. All right, you see us right there in section 5, and this one gets 2 big bales that we're going to cut in half. So we're actually going to have 4 different spots. These bales are weighing, let's just say they're weighing 1,200 pounds divided by 4. So there's going to be 300 pounds of hay in 4 different spots. This looks like a really interesting spot. Nice low spot right here, and you can see it extends up through here. And we've got a lot of tall saccatone that's already growing in here. So it looks like it's a fertile area, maybe holds a little bit more moisture. That'll be a good spot. They're putting out a fire over there on the other portion of this area. They're doing a biochar project. So one side is biochar, this side is bale grazing. It's going to be really interesting to see the results. All right, let's just stick it right down here. So, I think that'll work just fine. There's a lot of little spots of native saltgrass growing through here. So I think right over here, we got a patch of saltgrass, but I think right here, pretty void of anything other than tumbleweed. So I think this is a good spot. And from there, as we come here, they've been using this for access as well. So I think we've got a nice spot right in here that, you know, the tractor's been driving over, the trucks have been driving over. So I think this looks really good right here. And I like this area just because it's going to get a little bit more shade than these spots that are out here. So it's very barren right now. It's got a little bit of leaf mulch, but let's see, we'll kind of go to the edge of this. And as the summer comes, you know, that's going to be a lot more shaded. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. All right, this one has kind of a natural depression as well. Now you've seen in some of our other areas, I've really spread things out to get into some different locations. On this, I'm gonna try to bunch them up a little bit more. So in here, we've got 4 round bales that are gonna lay on their round side. So we're gonna do 2 different things with round bales. On end, where they're standing straight up, flat surface down and flat surface up. And then on the rolled side, because we see that with our goats, on a rolled side, they spread it out a little bit more. That bale flakes off a little easier. When it's standing straight up, you get a kind of a compacted area right in the middle. So we're gonna see how that difference looks between the 2 setups. But this one's gonna be 4 bales relatively close together so that when they do spread out, they kind of almost, the residual hay almost touches each other at the rings. You know, they kind of spreads out about, 16 to 20 feet, you know, all the way across in diameter. So I'm gonna set it up so that they kind of come together in the middle. In section 3 here, I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely bare. Hardly even any tumbleweeds. So I think this is our best spot. We're putting in 3 of the small square bales. So that's the 3 of the 800-ish or so pound bales that are a mix of Sudan and alfalfa. But this area right here is prime for it. Bald eagles right there above me. Look at that. 2 of them. So I've located the spots for all the bales. That was a big accomplishment. I'm super excited about that. It may change a little bit as we get out here and do some things and we bring the bales out. We may decide that we might want to move some around because the forest manager that manages all of this, he'll be out here at the same time. So we may decide, oh, let's move that a little bit. But for now, I think we got a good start on it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to put in some wood stakes with some orange flagging. And these will be the reference points for a couple things. Reference points for pictures and video in the future so that we can do before, during, after, all of those wonderful things for the next year plus. And that way we see progress. The other thing is that'll help me mark and verify where my soil samples are. So I'll have kind of an equation of where I go from the stakes to get the soil samples. I may put in some other ones, not exactly sure. Never done soil samples before, so they're expensive. It's $69, I think, per sample. You know, it depends on how excited I get about doing this and how much money I want to spend. Hopefully in the future, I can get some grant money to pay for this, but right now, we're funding this on our own because we need the data. We just really want the data. So anyway, the number of soil samples I take will be determined about what I see when I go around here and look and how deep I think my pockets are, which not very deep. But we're gonna give it a try anyway. So this is the area where we're gonna roll out the round bales. And you can see a flag right here. And off in the distance over there is the other flag right there. So I think what I'm going to do is do a reference point here so I can take pictures and video in that direction. And then I'll start to figure out my soil sample areas from there. So I'm just going to try to line this up to where this one is in line with the 2. That's where our hay is going to be rolled out. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it here. It'll be a good reference point. A little closer, I don't know. Okay, looks great. One thing I forgot is I need to label these. So we're in section 7 and I'm just going to call this 7A because this is where we're starting. So we're going to go 7 A is our reference point here. Go ahead and put a little flagging around it, because I'm going to put metal stakes, T-posts here, so that we don't lose these. Because if I leave it as wood, the goats will get to playing with it, they'll knock it out, and I'll never see it again. And so this is for reference for the guys to come put a metal stake here. We'll put a label on that stake, and it'll be here for over a year. I think 7B, it's just off the where it's going to get rolled. I think I lost my marker. Oh, I see it. Okay, so this will be 7B. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write this one first. So I'm just going to keep doing that, setting posts in, and I don't know, we'll just see what happens. Okay, I think I got to call it a day. Sun's going down. It's getting kind of low over there. It's about 4:30 and about a 45-minute drive to the house. So I'm going to get home before it gets dark, have some dinner with family. But we've got a great start. We've got all of our corners marked, all of our boundaries marked. We have our bale placement marked everywhere. I'm realizing now there's going to be a lot of staking for reference pictures and videos, and establishing where I'm taking my soil samples. So I knew it was going to be a lot, but I think it could get to be a whole lot. So I'm going to take some time on the drive home, get some windshield time, and figure out maybe if I need to scale back a little bit or just go for it. You know, it's super important. So I don't know, never done it before, so just kind of winging it. But I think it's going to be good no matter what. So until tomorrow, have a good night. All right, day 3 of the Bale Grazing project setup. Today is January 28th. And what's on the agenda for today is setting up our reference points. I started that yesterday, only got a little bit done. I'll be doing that today. That's the goal for today, get all my reference points set up. Those are the reference points for taking pictures and videos, so that every time we're in the same spot and they're labeled and we know what we're doing. And then Nick and Lucas are coming down with T-posts and the T-post pounder. So they're going to be putting in the more permanent posts. I'm marking locations, labeling them so that we know what they are. And then they're going to put those in so that we have longevity with those things. So the reference points are just really about looking at what everything looks like before, like what it looks like right now before we put bales in. And then we're going to do it again when we put the bales in. Then again when I put the goats in, and midways through, and then when the goats are done with a section, then we'll take all those same reference points, pictures and videos again, and we'll just do that all the way through. That way we have just as much documentation as possible for this project. Like I said, never done it before, but what I know is when I look at other things, I'm like, man, I wish I had seen that. I wish they had done this. So I'm gonna try and get as much as I can. Really, it's to help other folks do this too, but I really think that we're going to have a lot more opportunity to do these types of projects. So I want to know as much as I can about all this so that I can plan accordingly going forward. A little chilly this morning, and this spot stays kind of shaded. I busted that stake over there because the ground is still frozen. On to section number 2. But before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get my jacket. It's a little chilly and my hands are cold. There has been fantastic. It's not much of a winter. We've had just very little snow, and the temperatures haven't been terrible. So, which lends itself a lot to why we're doing this. You know, we're in a very arid climate. We might get 11 inches of precipitation a year. So if the ground is exposed it's gonna get hot. It's gonna bake, and that moisture is gonna evaporate. And so part of that bale grazing technique is providing ground cover, so it protects the soil, holds moisture, and that's the start of it all. So section 2, it's the 3 smaller bales that we cut into halves, so that made 6 piles in here. I think this is as good a spot as any. Over the last 5 years, we have grazed in here several times. At one point, this was nothing but tumbleweeds. I mean, just absolutely covered up. And one of the ways I can tell and know that for sure that we've been in this spot is because, well, you can come in here, and I bet you if we look around enough, we will find, yep, you can see right there some old manure. This is oh, who knows, maybe could be from 2 years ago. There's no telling. Had great success in knocking back the tumbleweeds for sure, but the challenge is this soil, because that fire was so hot, it got rid of the nutrients that are in the soil and the organic matter, and but it also exposed it. The tumbleweeds help to provide that cover for the ground, and you can see, there's some light tumbleweed coverage right there, but it perpetuates itself. So, every tumbleweed is going to produce hundreds of thousands of seeds, and it keeps replanting itself. And the biggest challenge that they have in here was the chance for more fire, and tumbleweeds are such a fire hazard. So we've accomplished that, we think, over the last several years of really knocking back that the invasive weed growth. And like we've seen in some of these places, some of this tall saccatone is coming back. This New Mexico olive privet, it's coming back, getting some pretty good stands of it in here. So it's trying, and I think if we give it a little help, I'm hoping for some great success. Challenge on a project like this, even for me, is you look out here, and we're going to put 4 bales right here in this small area, but the boundary, each one of these test sections is a half an acre in size, and this is not even a tenth of an acre that we're covering with this right here. And you can see all of this bare ground that we've got out here. The boundary corner is right there by that little tree kind of standing up there. So nowhere near getting the coverage that we want, but this is for test purposes, and hopefully as we progress forward, we see the results and they're good, and we can expand the program even more and hopefully get some grant money, or however the funding might come, to do this on a larger scale. I'm going to have 39 goats and 1 alpaca in here, and we're putting in enough hay for 1 week, so that we've got 8 sections. We're going to have 8 weeks worth of testing, and the reason I broke it up like that into these half-acre sections, so they'd have enough room. There's still vegetation out here that they can eat, that we want to eat, to help reduce some more of this tumbleweed that's here. But it gave me an opportunity to try some different things, different setups of how we're going to put the hay, different types of hay, different sizes of hay. Just trying to get as much data on this first run as we can. All right, Nick and Lucas just showed up. They've got water tanks on the back, and then they've got our T-posts for our reference points for today. Of course, we got to have our water tanks put into place, so when the goats are out here, well, they've got water, right? Yeah. these IBC totes to fill up for water, and in order to get them high enough so that we can get water into the trough, we got to put them on pallets. So 3 pallets is the perfect amount of pallets. Oh, I'm gonna do it by myself.
You can put it on the IBC totes that have the screw on, guys.
All right, we got all the T-posts set. Went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. Nick and Lucas came. They had a system going, and it helps that the soil is nice and soft, nice and sandy. And so they went in real easy, real quick. So now we got all of our reference points set up with T-posts now. Later we'll come back. We've got these brackets that fit over the top of the T-post, and we can screw a block of wood on there, and then we can label it. That way, every time we take a picture or video, we always have a reference point. All right, I think that about does it for today. Let's recap what we did today. I came in, I finished setting my wood stakes in that gave us our reference points. And then Nick and Lucas came along. They pounded all of the T-posts in for me. So now we have a good solid set of reference points that should last for more than a year for all of our testing that we're going to be doing and documentation that we're going to be doing. We've got our water tanks all out and set in place. So when we do bring the goats, we'll already have these things filled up. We'll have water, so they'll be good there. And I think probably most importantly is I figured out my soil testing strategy. Like I said, it's been stressing me out. I don't know why, but it has been. So I think I've got a pretty good strategy. I think it's going to work. I'm not ready to do the soil test yet. It'll probably be next week when I do that, because I have to, it's a tedious process that I have to go through to make sure it's done right. So we'll do that next week, just a day or two prior to bringing the hay and the goats out. So on the agenda for tomorrow, one of the things I really want to do is get some good drone footage, both pictures and video of what it looks like before we bring our bales out. And I don't want to do it right now because it's already getting a little bit in the afternoon. It's 3 o'clock or so. So we got a lot of shade. And the other thing that I want to do tomorrow is go ahead and do what I don't know what the name of it is, but I'm going to take some shovel visual soil samples. So I'm going to just document what the soil looks like in some of these places. No real strategy to where, just in those locations where the hay is going to be. As far as the drone coming over, we wouldn't see everything the way I want to. So I'm going to try to hit that about midday tomorrow and get some good drone footage, pictures, get a good idea of what it all looks like before anything else happens, so that we can see if there's any actual visual change in that soil. You know, does it look more rich, like there's more organic material in it? Is there going to be more bugs and things, creepy crawlies? Will there be worms in it? You know, that kind of thing afterwards. So see what it looks like before, and then we'll come in after the goats have gone, try it again, see what it looks like, and then in a few months, and then a few months after that. So tomorrow is drone footage and shovel visual testing. Have a goat night. This was a team effort to make all these reference blocks. I went and I got the wood, and then I had Abby and Nick, while they were grazing, they cut the wood into 6-inch blocks like this. And then, before that, Abby and Garrett painted the 2x6, just 2x6s. So painted the 2x6s. Then Nick and Abby measured and cut all of them into 6-inch blocks, and then they painted the edges so those weren't exposed. And then Nick and Lucas attached the brackets to the blocks themselves. Team effort. Okay, so I've got all of my reference points in and labeled. I've got all of my spots located with my flags for where the bales are going to go. My water tanks are here. They just need to be filled up. So all that really has to happen now before the bales get here is that I've got to go through and take my before and after pictures and videos. And then I need to do my soil samples. And then we're going to be ready for hay bales to come. And then after that, we'll be ready for the goats. This project is definitely the goat. Q, here.